Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to explore something new.
Well, today we're tackling a concept from Japanese psychology called kadai no bunri, task separation. Sounds intriguing, right?
Definitely. I've got
Yeah.
some interesting material on this.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in this because, sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in a sea of to-dos and responsibilities. Like I'm constantly letting people down, And this idea of separating tasks, well, it seems like it could be a lifesaver.
I think you're going to find this really helpful, yeah. It's all about taking control of your own well-being, recognizing what's actually on your plate and what you can, well, maybe let go of.
Okay, so let's get into it. Where do we even begin with this whole task separation thing? Is there like a specific framework it comes from?
Yeah, actually, it's rooted in Adlerian psychology.
Adlerian psychology. I'm not super familiar with that.
Basically, it emphasizes personal responsibility and the power of choice. Like, even when things feel out of control, we still have the power to choose how we react.
Hmm, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it really ties into this whole idea of task separation. So, like, that feeling of overwhelm you were just talking about?
Yeah, definitely. Happens all the time, honestly.
Well, Adler would say that a lot of that comes from us feeling trapped by external factors, like other people's expectations or things we just can't control. And task separation is all about, like, recognizing that, seeing where those boundaries are.
So it's about figuring out what we can actually change and what we just have to accept.
Exactly. It's like drawing a line in the sand and saying, okay, this is my responsibility, this is on me, and that's not mine to carry.
I like that analogy. It's like a mental decluttering, right? Getting rid
Right.
of the stuff that's not ours to hold on to.
Exactly. And the article we have here by Teru Nakashima, he's a Japanese counselor, he actually uses that very analogy, like decluttering your mind.
Oh, cool. So does he give any specific examples of what that might look like, in practice?
Yeah, he talks about this example. Imagine you're feeling really stressed out about a coworker's performance, right?
Oh, yeah, been there.
So you're taking on their stress, worrying about their deadlines, their mistakes. But with task separation, you'd kind of stop and ask yourself, hold on, is this actually my problem? Can I control their work ethic?
Right, like ultimately they're responsible for their own work.
Exactly. So you can offer support, maybe give advice if they ask for it, but you don't take on the burden of fixing their problems. That's their task, their responsibility.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's not about being completely detached from the people around us, but about setting healthy boundaries.
Right. It's about figuring out what you can actually do something about,
Right.
what's in your control, and then focusing your energy there and letting go of the things that aren't.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could be really helpful.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do it? Like, what are the concrete steps involved in this task separation thing?
Yeah, so Nakashima lays out a pretty clear process. First, you identify the issue that's causing you stress. Like what's got you feeling overwhelmed or anxious.
Right, get specific about it.
Yeah. Then you ask yourself that crucial question. Is this truly my problem to solve? Or am I taking on someone else's feelings, someone else's responsibility?
That's a powerful question. And honestly, probably not one I ask myself often enough.
Right. We tend to like jump in and try to fix things, even when it's not ours to fix.
So true. Okay, so you identify the issue, you ask that question, what's next?
Then it's all about making a conscious decision. Are you going to focus your energy on what you can control, or are you going to stay stuck in that cycle of worry about things you can't?
I guess that's where the separation part really comes in.
Exactly. You're separating your tasks from other people's tasks and focusing on what's truly yours to manage.
It's funny because on the surface, it sounds kind of selfish, right? Like only caring about your own stuff.
I see what you mean, but it's not about being self-centered, it's about self-preservation. Because when you're constantly taking on other people's burdens, you end up burning yourself out.
That's a good point. It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. You need to take care of yourself first so you can actually be there for others in a healthy way.
Okay, I'm really digging this so far, but there's something I'm still kind of wrestling with. How do you differentiate between influence and control? Because I might be able to influence someone's decision, but at the end of the day, I can't control what they choose to do.
That's a really important distinction, and it can be tricky to navigate. But I think it comes down to recognizing the difference between offering support and taking responsibility. You can control your actions, your words, but you can't control how someone else reacts to them.
So like if my friend is going through a tough time, I can offer a listening ear. I can be there for them. but I can't fix their problem for them.
Right. And that's where self-esteem comes in. Because when you're able to let go of that need to control everything, when you accept that you can't fix everyone and everything, it actually frees you up to focus on your own growth and well-being.
That's a really interesting connection. So this task separation technique actually leads to higher self-esteem.
That's what Nakashima argues, yeah. It's all about empowerment. By releasing that burden of things outside your control, you reclaim a sense of agency. You realize that you have the power to shape your own experiences, make your own choices.
So it's not about becoming completely detached from others, but about finding that balance between being there for them and taking care of yourself.
Exactly. It's about setting those healthy boundaries and recognizing that your well-being is just as important as anyone else's.
Wow, this has been incredibly insightful. I'm definitely going to start trying this task separation technique in my own life. There are definitely some mental cobwebs I need to clear out.
Yeah, it's amazing how much lighter you feel when you let go of all that unnecessary baggage.
Absolutely. Now, before we wrap up, here's a question for everyone listening. Could this task separation idea be applied to groups, too? Like, think about teams at work, families, even communities. How might this change the way those groups function, the way they interact? Something to ponder.
Ooh, that's a good one. Definitely gives you a lot to think about.
Well, on that note, we'll leave you to explore that idea further. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Until next time.